enjoy seeing the faces of people, not realizing what all is going to take place. A lot of people are used to seeing trains run around a track, but to see things where they can actually push a button, see milk cans unload, logs unload, coal dump, and something like that, that makes a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch the children when everybody ready to dump the coal, and dump it, and they all jump back and say, "Oh, I thought you were ready." That's kind of a lot of the fun is, that's what makes it worthwhile.
And speaking of people coming, do you know how many people have come to see the trains over the years?
Well, we've had well over 900 showings, and I believe there's somewhere close to 8,000 people since 1983 that have come. In fact, this year we've had almost 500 and some people here since the middle of December, so it's kind of worthwhile putting it up for people's expressions and so on like that.
See the ice cream truck?
I think it's well over 300 feet plus. I'm not exactly sure. There's a lot of curves. We measured it somewhat, tried to measure it, but we now can guarantee it's well over 300 feet.
And also on your train display, you have a lot of scenery and trees. Are those things that you all buy?
No, a lot of it is, we take goldenrod that's dried out, and used to put it in dye, like to dye clothing and so on like that, let it dry. Sometimes spray it, takes hydrangeas, spray the different colors and so on like that. There's a little moss that we get and put down moss and so on like that. It takes shavings, or sawdust I should say, and dye that green to make it look like grass. Take coffee grounds to make it look like ground. And we take peat moss to make it look like some other things that animals put out, and so on like that.
How did your love for trains begin?
Well, as a little kid, everybody had trains. That was just a big thing. All my friends, my relatives, we had trains. We'd play them under the trees for years and so on like that. Trains were a big thing of the United States back years ago as far as movie things. Unfortunately, it died out. Kind of my love got to it by seeing that and having a lot of fun with it. Always look forward to setting it up. I can remember though setting it up, my dad was always the one who set it up, and he'd get started with it, and wasn't supposed to touch much till he got it done, and almost every time he started setting it up, we'd have a snowstorm, he'd have to go out and plow snow, so it had to sit for a day or two, so it was a little hard to take that way. But so there was a lot of different things like that. As far as some of the different things I added to it made it more interesting. It was like the video car and different things that you could see and bring more life to it that way. And a lot of people had gotten away from trains years ago and stuff like that, but this still was a part that kind of brought things back. And there's a connection with people. It's interesting to watch people as they come around and they see the S&H green stamps. It kind of gives me an idea how old they are.
Watch your friends.
We're repacking, ready to roll.
word Putz is a German word for finery. The Moravians use that to set up a lot of Christmas displays and so on like that. And so I guess my aunt and uncle just took that word, and different places we've seen it used since. It's finery, not just trains, it's a lot of small things like little rabbits that are shown, animals, scenery. So it's complete, not just a big train on one track.
What do you do to get the trains ready to show?
Well, there's a lot of preparation for it. The trains themselves have to be lubricated properly. I take a hypodermic needle and put a drop of oil on each side of each of the wheels of the cars. The engines themselves, you have to clean sometimes the gear parts and put grease in, put new brushes in sometimes for the motors, different things like that. And then of course dust them and clean them. A lot of times the scenery needs that as well.
Have you ever calculated how many hours it takes to do this?
I've given up. It's not possible even to think of. We usually get around 100 some hours each year thinking we're going to keep track, and we lose track. So I know it takes me at least 2 to 3 nights at least working a couple hours just to service the cars themselves.
Alright, I'm gonna turn it off. And we need another button pusher. Alright, come on over
A
here.
little bit more so you can see.
So if you hold this button down for a while, you'll see the logs come up here and then they'll load onto the train car. So keep holding the button down, you know? Alright, great job, thank you.
As a kid, we always used to just play with them when relatives came and so on. But then in the late 60s, my aunt and uncle would put some scenery with it. And we'd have a few friends in to see it. Used to put it in my mom and dad's living room and stand around that way. That's when it started. Then when I got out of high school, we moved down to my aunt's and uncle's place. So they had what they called the barn. The building they built for that, we had it set up in there. Should maybe a couple of years that way. I've had a lot of different people help put some things together and so on. Different young people helped with the setting up throughout the time. And then I've taken a lot of things like Penn Valley Gas. We have a truck display that we have made that look like they're filling a greenhouse up. There's Railroad Diner. We have a billboard going around for that. We have a couple builders that we've got a couple signs for them as well. So there's a lot of different people. Well, I like to have a little fun, so we have an auctioneer that can sometimes sell something, and so I have a little bit of fun with that as well.
So when they do repairs on the railroad, this one spits out the railroad ties.
Sure enough.
Like the records can come along and they put it in the railroad. And this one tamps down the stone.
Right around the front on the front, you go up and down.
What are your favorite parts of the display, or at least some of your favorite ones?
I have a lot of them. I kind of like the house that catches on fire. I like a lot of fun playing the siren for one of them.
See the water spraying in there?
See the fire in the basement?
What do you think? Do you think he got the fire out?
And look over there. He's pulling from the pond.
Alright, I think that fire's out.
Good job, fire guys.
Thunderstorms kind of neat too to watch how many people can get a bath. There's a few other things I like to watch. People look at the boys going up and down the seesaw. I got that to work. Incline plane was one that, even though it took a lot of work, but it's kind of neat to see people look at it and realize. I mean, so many people do realize there is an incline plane in Pittsburgh or someplace, but they never heard of Jonestown. So it's a conversational piece.
Sitting on the truck there waiting for Matthew. In the background here, we have a baseball game going on.
That would be a home run and a ball game.
Here's an older couple sitting around the sundial and a little puppy dog chasing the Cardinals. And a basket enjoyed a nice cold treat from the ice cream truck. And here we have a mama duck with her babies. What are baby ducks called? You find the bunny rabbit or the squirrel? On the telephone? Yeah. Yep. You might be hidden behind that bush with the rest of you. If you look inside this outhouse, we have a little girl in there doing her business, getting some fresh air. No problem with closing outhouse doors around here. And here's a fire truck coming out of the fire station. And at this church over here, we have a wedding going on. And even though this catering business has been out of business for over a decade, they came back to cater the wedding. Okay, so catering business is right when there was these Mary Jane's theater. And here we have a little boy playing in the playground. There's a sandbox and a jungle gym. Teachers sweeping in front of the school here. We have a bird on top of the telephone pole there. And this little boy here is catching a butterfly in the bush. It's his butterfly net out. Here we have a guy raking hay in the field. And a pig and some piglets. And if you look inside this barn door, you can see there's a milkmaid kneeling down milking a cow. Here the water's coming down the mountainside here and making the mill work. And if you follow the water down the stream, there's a black swan and an alligator just about ready to jump in the pond. Do you see that alligator there? Fishing. And he already caught some fish here on the side of the lean-to. Here we have an apple orchard. And inside the apple orchard, there's a scarecrow who's not very good at his job because there's a crow sitting right on his arm. There we have an older couple walking to the farmer's market. And the chef and newspaper boy out in front of the restaurant. In the diner. Here's a guy disking in the field. And from where most of you are down there, if you look back here at this load of corn, you can see there's a rat sit in the back getting a free snack. Do you see that mouse there in the back?
Sure enough.
Back on the mountain back here, we have a shepherd keeping warm by the fire. And a lady and her dog sitting next to the bank there. Oh, yep, there's a cougar in the background too. Here we have a gander who's not too happy with that pickup truck for taking that cow to market. And an older couple here enjoying the cardinals on the bird bath. Here's Aunt Jemima out in front of her house. And a lady feeding some chickens, some cows in the pasture over here. And if you look in that greenhouse down there, you can see a row of yellow flowers growing in that greenhouse in the window. And on the other side of the greenhouse, we have 2 rows of strawberries growing in the garden there. And here's an Amish lady heading to the telephone booth. And in front of the church there, we have a little white bunny rabbit, I think waiting to get in the church door. See the bunny rabbit? Here we have a puppy dog watching the lady dig in the garden. And there's a black cat here sitting in front of this house watching everything that's going on. Here we have a guy plowing in the field and Ferdinand the bull. And a groundhog peeking his head up there out of the stone fence. I don't know if he saw a shadow today or not, but there it is. There's some cows in the pasture back here. And of course had to make it authentic with some cow plops and a load of manure.
That's great.
Thankfully this display does not come with smells.
Look carefully in the windows of these credit cards. You can see the people in the windows. And all you people who are down there, just kind of line up along the park here. You can get the best view. Oh, it's still raining. Wow.
You see any monkeys? Okay, tell me where.
On the pool.
Yep, one's climbing up to the flag. Very good. In the tree is number 3. Oh, good. And you find the last one.
He's trying to get inside.
Climbing inside the trunk of the police car there. Here we have a lady and her dog walking to the 5 and dime store. And for those of you who are old enough to remember, there's some S&H green stamps advertised in the 5 and dime window. And we have a pole in the backyard here of this house. A panda bear and a grizzly doing some tricks on a barrel in the back. and a clerk in front of the supermarket. Behind the supermarket here we have a bandit holding up a guy. We have a little robbery going on in the back there. And if you look at this father here, he's so busy watching what's going on, he's not manning the grill. And who's eating the sausages right off the grill? Who's getting the sausages?
Dog.
The dog is, you're right.
The little man's pulling. They're playing tug of war.
You're right, they're playing tug of war over here by the sand. We have a little beaver underneath the bridge here who's building a dam, and a blue heron in the middle of the pond, and a baby turtle just hatching out of his shell there. So if you look at these trees, we already had spring and summer, and now if you look at these trees, what season are we in? Fall, very good. And what comes next? What comes after fall? Winter, right. So head on over to the winter scene, and you'll see Daddy's oldest train. It's from the 1920s.
Well, this is my oldest one. This gave to my aunt and uncle. I'm not sure where they would have gotten it. It comes out in 1920 somewhere. It was one of the first electric trains, the small ones, the big ones. Originally came through, you could operate it with a rheostat like this off a battery. You just push this down and make it go faster or slower. This is one of the freight cars that came with it. This is the passenger, but I do have all the freight train with it besides. It would either go forward or backwards. It wasn't like the others, just went away. This has other style coupling on. It's the first one made after the big O gauge, or big standard gauge, I should say. This is O gauge.
So if you look at number 4 here on the roundhouse, a green light will go on, and Daddy's, the snow blower will come out.
Well, Roundhouse was built by a little 12-year-old Amish boy who's just learned to TIG weld, and he made the thing, and he made the house itself. The roof was made out of the material they used for the carriages, and they decided that they weren't using it, didn't need it, and so on like that. So they gave it to me, so I refurbished it. We did more, put bearings into it, and bushings, and electrified it, that it worked. And that's kind of what it is today. After we got married, I didn't set up for a couple of years. And then when Carrie came along, we set up one time in the living room, just a little train basically. And a year or so later, we decided it was time to start setting up in the basement. So we kept adding a little bit more to it, a little bit more to it every year. We had a snow scene at that time down right at the bottom of the steps. And we added a mountain and a couple other things, and just continued to grow.
Okay. And Daddy's biggest engine's gonna come out of number 2 here. You'll see the green light come on. Oh, no front lights yet. Okay, now we're in business. Okay. Counter. Okay. Nope. We added this extra. Okay. Engine house this year. Now the engineer can't see the roundhouse. All right. The headlights are on and it's ready to come. Enjoying a book and hot cocoa by the fire. And you probably hear the marching band already that's come into town. Here's the marching band. We have a mom here and her holding her little baby, watching them, and a man saluting. Here we have a ring toss game and a reindeer who's so hungry he's eating poor Frosty's nose right off his face. Here we have a policeman ready to direct traffic when they come into town. A garage here and a fire station, but all of the fire workers and the fire truck is at the school today for a demonstration for the students, so you see them over here. Here we have a cabin up on the mountain and a waterfall, some mountain hikers, and a Christmas tree farm, and even the puppy dog is helping deliver the Christmas wreath there. Here we have a mailman delivering some letters to the mailbox. And if you look behind this school here in the tree, you can see a really big snow elk. Take a good look at him. You see him? All right, there's 5 more just like him hidden over on this mountain. Can you find them all? Where?
Right there beside the bridge.
Right here. Very good. Yes, where? Hey, keep your eye on him. He turns fast. Oh, there you go. He turned around.
Tell me about the snow houses and other cardboard structures you have.
Oh, these are houses that came out during World War II. We weren't allowed to use any metal or plastic for any but work purposes. These little houses like this, if you notice, They have cellulose windows and doors in them. And we used to take and there was a hole in the back. You could put lights on. These to have lights that were on a series, and you go from one light to the next light underneath the Christmas tree. And then this was a bigger one. This is just these are all snow houses. Most of those went underneath the Christmas tree. These would go other places. And if you look carefully in here, you can see they have Venetian blinds and shutters and so on the windows as well.
Why do we celebrate Christmas?
It's Jesus' birthday.
It's Jesus' birthday. So if you turn back to the back corner back there, you can see the Christmas story.
Head on over.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright.
What made you decide to add the nativity to your train display, even though there aren't any trains?
Well, Christmas is a very important part, and so a lot of people come to see the trains, so I wanted to share the story of Jesus with them, and so that's why we set this up. Made a crutch. It was made out of old wooden shingles from the roof, and a lot of these are all porcelain figures from way back years ago, and sheep in the pasture, sort of what my idea was of what it looked like back when Jesus was actually born.
And tell me about the scene behind you. What made you add that to the nativity?
Well, that's the completion of the Christmas story. That's where Christ is no longer on the crosses. He's no longer in the tomb. He's risen. And there's a lot of people come to see the trains. That Christmas means gifts. A lot of other things they don't realize that the completed story includes Easter.
Then Jesus went to the tomb, but the tomb is empty. Do you see the stone is rolled away? There's the empty tomb. Where's Jesus? He's alive. Jesus is alive, alive forevermore. Alive, alive, alive forevermore. My Jesus is alive.
Tell me about the first train you got and how old you were.
Well, I got this engine training set when I was, I think, 2 years of age for Christmas. My dad got it and set it up. I think there was one or two more cars with it. I forget which was with it originally. We had it for quite a few years. Still have it.
What year would you have gotten it in?
Probably 1953.
And did he let you drive it right away?
No, I could sometimes run a little bit with his hand on top of it, my hand, but I was always taught you didn't run it too fast, run off the track, and if it did, that was the end of that. It was taken down. You didn't run it anymore. So.
Tell me about the wind-up train behind you.
Well, it was a train that I got when I was about 3 years of age. I had something, I don't know what it was on the operator. I was in a hospital, and at that time they had wards, so there was a whole bunch of cribs. And I was in one of them, and my uncle got this board, put this figure eight, made it for me, put it underneath my crib, and I watched the train go around in figure eight. That's kind of what it was. He got it for me, and that's about what I know of it.
So show me your train controls, explain how they work, and how you can make the trains run well.
Well, these are the transformers. You take 110 volts and make them into 18 volts DC. This was the first one I got, and the way they work is that you turn the current on, and then you turn it back off again. And each time the engine has a forward, neutral, reverse, and forward again. So back and forth. These are the switches up here that turn the switches to change the engine to different tracks. This one up here If we let you unload things, or uncouple things, it's going to come with the barrel loader the first time. And they're all hooked together now. When I started out back years ago, it was only just one transformer, but now I've got a few more. There's a lot more needs.
How do you come up with all of the scenery design and new things to add through the years?
Well, I have nightmares sometimes, I guess you could call them. I think of different things, like the inclined plane. I decided I wanted to somehow make that operate. It took quite a couple years of experimenting to get that to work. Looking at different people, different things. My daughter's carried her catering. We had a little car that we advertised her catering. Fertile Valley Ice Cream, one of my farmers, we had his up there. My other daughter has a book. She writes books and so on. We have a book house, or book store, so to speak, there. There's a lot of different types of things like that we have.
And I think I heard something about a thunderstorm.
Oh, well, yeah, we did. We incorporated a thunderstorm into this thing. And kind of a night scene. It makes it interesting to see the lights flash and so on like that. And we added a little fun to it. Sometimes people get to realize they didn't bring an umbrella when a thunderstorm can take place. So kind of get wet, but most people seem to like that.